Millions of people across the southeast have been warned to expect hurricane-force winds. Huge waves are now battering Key West, but the storm is expected to make landfall hundreds of miles north tonight. Manuel Bojorquez begins our coverage in Tampa. Manny, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Adriana. You can already see how choppy the waters along Tampa Bay are starting to become as the outer bands of Hurricane Helene move through this area. We're getting heavy rain and gusty winds at time. And the big concern here is the possibility of the storm surge being anywhere from 5 to 8 feet. Let's go ahead and show you video of impacts on other parts of the state. Heavy rains and tropical storm force winds have already begun to hammer southwestern Florida near Naples. Tampa General Hospital, closer to us, installed an aqua fence. That's a watertight barrier designed to protect the building against flooding. And a hospital in South Pasadena, a suburb right along the coast, had to evacuate. Meanwhile, police in Bradenton were ordering people in evacuation zones to get out. Yesterday, when Hurricane Helene hit the Yucatan Peninsula, it brought powerful winds and more than a half a foot of rain, and that all flooded much of the Cancun area. Back here in Tampa, the mayor is urging anyone who still has a chance to get out of low-lying areas and to higher ground to do so as the storm moves through. And there is the potential for an impact nationwide to travel, a ripple effect, as airports like Tampa International Airport have decided to cease operations today until the storm moves through. About 200 miles north of here in Crawfordville, Florida, that's south of Tallahassee, but close to where Helene is expected to make landfall. That's where we find my colleague Jason Allen. Jason, how are conditions looking there this morning?
Well, good morning, Manny. We are having a little bit of a break from some deluge of rain that we've experienced this morning, but we're watching the radar carefully. We know there's another band that is headed our way. We're just a couple of miles from the Gulf. The convenience store you see behind me clearly closed. It is all boarded up. The grocery store back in that direction, it is closed. The gas pumps here are off, although we have seen a lot of people this morning who are coming here looking for gas and supplies, but it is too late for that. There is a mandatory evacuation order that is in effect here. There are people who are risking their lives and have decided to stay. The big concern for them is that they may not be able to find higher ground. They are likely not going to have power or gasoline for days.
Today we're exploring one of Ethiopia's most significant religious and cultural celebrations, mesquel. Every year on September 27th, Ethiopians gather to celebrate a tradition that dates back over 1,600 years. From grand bonfires to colorful ceremonies, this festival is deeply spiritual and rich in history. Let's dive in and discover what makes mesquel so unique. Mesquel commemorates the finding of the true cross, believed to be the very cross on which Jesus Christ was crucified. The story traces back to Empress Helena, the mother of Roman Emperor Constantine, who, after a divine vision, set out to find the cross.
According to church tradition, 300 years after the execution of Jesus of Nazareth, the mother of the Roman Emperor Constantine, Empress Helena, arrives in Jerusalem.
She is arguably one of the most revered women of antiquity and of all time.
She has come to lead a dramatic excavation on the site of Christ's crucifixion.
She has been called the first archaeologist. She is said to have personally discovered the most sacred symbol in Christianity, the true cross, the cross on which Jesus was crucified.
According to legend, she lit a bonfire, and the smoke from the fire pointed her to its burial site. In Ethiopia, the lighting of the bonfire, known as the Demarow, is a central part of the mesquel celebration, symbolizing the event that led to the discovery of the true cross. The holiday holds immense religious importance, especially within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. The story of Empress Helena's discovery has been passed down through generations, and each year, the faithful light the Demarow bonfire in remembrance. Mesquel is celebrated with grandeur across Ethiopia, especially in the capital, Addis Ababa, where thousands gather at Mesquel Square. the celebration is marked by elaborate processions, prayers, and the lighting of massive bonfires. Priests, dressed in traditional and brightly colored robes, lead the rituals. They carry crosses and censers that spread fragrant incense into the air, creating a spiritual and atmospheric scene. Once the bonfire is lit, the flames rise high, symbolizing the smoke that guided Empress Helena. It's a powerful visual that holds deep religious meaning. After the Demera, the ashes from the bonfire are considered sacred, and people will sometimes use them to mark crosses on their foreheads as a blessing. Mescal is filled with meaningful symbols.
I feel it coming. I feel it coming, baby. I feel it coming. I feel it coming, baby. I feel it coming. I feel it coming, baby. I feel it coming. I feel it coming, baby.
Is a name of Spanish origin, and because it is Spanish, let's hear how it's said in Spanish. Idalia. Idalia. So because it is Spanish, the I's are pronounced like E, not I. So it's not Idalia, but Idalia. Now in English, it is usually said in, I think it's going to become a tropical storm around Florida. Idalia.
This illustrates the birth of Hurricane Isabel, which occurred over the Ethiopian highlands. And the maturity of these cloud systems as they track towards the west, picking up energy, moving across the Sahel of Africa, gathering a lot of energy over the warm tropical waters of the Atlantic. This storm became a Category 5 and stayed a Category 5 for 3 days in a row, which is unprecedented for a hurricane in the Atlantic, finally making landfall as a Category 2. Now, when Isabel hit the United States, as a Category 2, it was an enormous Category 2. It was about 1,000 miles in diameter. It's absolutely huge. And this was an enormous windstorm for the mid-Atlantic. 3.5 million people were without power.
Was the Ark of the Covenant just stolen so it could be brought into battle?
Well, the city of Tanis is one of the possible resting places of the Lost Ark.
The Lost Ark?
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant, the chest the Hebrews used to carry around the Ten Commandments.
What do you mean Commandments? You're talking about the Ten Commandments?
Yes, the actual Ten Commandments, the original stone tablets that Moses brought down out of Mount Horeb and smashed, if you believe in that sort of thing. You think you guys ever go to Sunday school?
Well,
Oh, look. The Hebrews took the broken pieces and put them in the Ark. When they settled in Canaan, they put the Ark in a place called the Temple of Solomon
In Jerusalem?
where it stayed for many years, until all of a sudden, whoosh, is gone.
Where?
Well, nobody knows where or when.
However, an Egyptian pharaoh
Shishak.
yes, invaded the city of Jerusalem around about 980 BC, and he may have taken the ark back to the city of Tanis and hidden it in a secret chamber called the Well of Souls.
Secret chamber.
However, about a year after the pharaoh had returned to Egypt, the city of Tanis was consumed by the desert in a sandstorm which lasted a whole year, wiped clean by the wrath of God.
That's it.
Good God.
Yes, that's just what the Hebrews thought.
Now what's that supposed to be coming out of there?
Lightning. Fire. Power of God or something.
Beginning to understand Hitler's interest in this.
Oh, yes. The Bible speaks of the ark leveling mountains and laying waste to entire regions. An army which carries the ark before it is invincible.